There are doors that should never be opened and secrets that should remain buried forever. For years no one in G. Hackman's mansion dared approach the forbidden room, not because he forbade it, not because they weren't curious, but because they heard something inside. Unexplainable sounds, whispers in the dead of night, shadows gliding past the doors cracked despite no one being there. Hackman's most loyal housekeeper kept silent for decades until one day she chose to speak, and what she revealed changed everything. When this truth unravels, only two paths remain: either all becomes clear or everyone involved vanishes forever. So what was Gene Hackman truly hiding? Why did the FBI step in, and what really happened in that forbidden room? Are you ready to face the truth when a celebrated figure like Gene Hackman owns a lavish mansion? It's no surprise he'd enforce strict personal rules, but amid the sprawling corridors, art-adorned walls, and splendid rooms of his Santa Fe, New Mexico estate, one door stood apart, a door no one was permitted to touch, never open that door. That was the command Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa issued from the day they hired their staff. No one could enter that room, not for cleaning, not for repairs. The door stayed firmly shut with no key visible, and though everyone in the household respected this rule, the whispers never ceased. Staff who worked in the mansion spoke of strange noises emanating from behind that door at night when silence blanketed the house. Faint broken whispers drifted out, or soft taps sounded as if someone inside sought to be heard. At first people dismissed it as the quirks of an old home, creaking woodwinds slipping through gaps, but sometimes the sounds grew so vivid they sent chills down spines. I heard someone whispering, like they were talking to themselves or to someone else. One housekeeper shared this, her eyes wide with unease as she recalled those long nights in the mansion. Others mentioned slow dragging footsteps, yet when they checked the hallway it was always empty. The rumors swelled over time. Some speculated the room held precious keepsakes from Hackman's Hollywood glory days. Others believed it was more than a room, a secret Hackman never intended to unveil. Among all who served at the mansion, only one stayed with the Hackman family for over 20 years, a woman named Marisol, who'd seen it all yet never spoken. Marisol was the sole person granted close access to Gene and Betsy. She cooked breakfast, tidied the living room, and occasionally helped Hackman sort his mail, but even she, after decades in that home, was barred from the forbidden room. So why, after more than 20 years, did she finally break her silence? In a hushed interview, Marisol admitted to witnessing something unforgettable, a sight that haunted her for years. I never wanted to tell this story, but once I saw that door open. She didn't specify when it happened, but her voice trembled as she recounted it. I was passing the hallway and I saw Mr. Hackman standing before that room. He stared inside for a long time, like he was wrestling with himself. Then he stepped in. I couldn't see much inside, but I remember one thing: the light in that room wasn't like anywhere else in the house. Marisol paused, her gaze clouded with confusion. It was a pale, cold blue, like light from another place. No one knew exactly what the room contained, but if someone who served Hackman for over 2 decades felt unsettled, the secret behind that door couldn't be trivial. Mariol also mentioned a detail few noticed: the door wasn't just locked in an ordinary Hackman chose to keep. It was one he couldn't escape. She also noticed that whenever Hackman emerged from there, his face tightened, his eyes heavy with thought, as if he'd seen something overwhelming. This raised the question: was Hackman concealing something, or was he the only one who knew the truth? The mystery of the forbidden room in Gene Hackman's Manon remained unsolved, but Marisol's revelations were just the tip of a vast hidden iceberg. If a single door could keep a man like Hackman awake at night, what lay beyond it? And more crucially, would anyone dare Open at the enigma of the forbidden room. In G. Hackman's mansion hadn't yet settled when another rumor erupted, sending shivers through the public. A secret tunnel ran beneath the house. At first it was idle chatter among maintenance workers and staff, but after a peculiar incident the tale became impossible to ignore. The mansion's maintenance crew followed a fixed routine, checking electrical systems, fixing plumbing, tending the sprawling garden. But one winter morning a worker named Richard Langford stumbled onto something extraordinary. Langford was tasked with repairing the heating system beneath the basement floor, a mundane job, or so he thought. Using a thermal scanner to map heat distribution, he hit a spot that wouldn't register. He double-checked, assuming his equipment had failed, but no matter what he did, that area stayed blank, as if a vast void lurked below. This wasn't a typical glitch. With over 30 years in the trade, Langford knew what he'd found: a hollow space under the foundation. He reported it to Hackman's property manager, expecting a follow-up probe. Instead, he got a curt order: no need to investigate further. Langford had never seen such a reaction to a simple technical issue. It made him wonder, did they already know about this space, and if so, why hide it? Rumors had long hinted that Hackman's mansion was more than a home, a place concealing something profound. Some believed it tied to an old Civil War tunnel linking wealthy estates for discreet transport of valuables or even people. But if true, why had Hackman never mentioned it, and why were all traces of such a tunnel absent from the mansion's architectural records? No one could say. Then another event catapulted the rumor to new heights. It was a late March evening. Neighbors near the Hackman estate reported seeing unmarked black cars near the main entrance. The occupants wore no police uniforms, yet their organized movements, vigilant scans, and swift entry into the mansion mirrored federal agents from movies. Some swore they glimpsed FBI on a dark jacket, but here's the catch: no official record confirmed FBI presence at Hackman's home that night. Those seeking answers got vague responses from local authorities. No investigation took place there. If nothing happened, who owned those cars? And why? Days later did Hackman turly state he wanted no more talk of the house. This only sto public curiosity, as whispers of the tunnel and FBI visits swirled. Leaked photos of the mansion's interior, taken before it was sealed off, surfaced online. They revealed little, just long hallways, aged stone walls, and rooms in classic decor. But one image sent chills through. They vanished from the web hours after posting. With each question the tale grew stranger. One thing was certain: Gene Hackman had always strived to keep something silent, and now it seemed that secret was inching into the light. As the mystery of the tunnel beneath Hackman's mansion lingered, a new rumor swept social media, plunging the story into an even darker abyss than anyone could fathom. The number 7,001. It started as a lone figure in scattered comments on X, Reddit, and TikTok, but like a spark meeting a gust, 701 became the heart of one of the most unsettling conspiracy theories about the Hackman estate. Word spread that 701 bodies had been found in the secret tunnel. How did this rumor ignite so fiercely, and was there any truth behind it? On April 16th, an anonymous X account posted a line that jolted the online community. Do you believe in buried secrets? Hackman Mansion 701. Dig deeper. At first no one grasped what it meant, but within hours other accounts reposted it with cryptic remarks. 701, an unbelievable number. If you know, you know. Hackman and 701 aren't a coincidence. The tunnel sealed, but the truth can't stay buried forever. Less than a day later, a TikTok clip escalated the tale to new heights. A 3-minute video titled 701: The Terrifying Mystery Beneath Hackman's Mansion. It opened with a haunting whisper: have you heard of 701? The screen shifted to faded images of the mansion, the mysterious wooden Door the basement's cold stone walls and blurry footage allegedly showing the tunnel before its closure, but the ending chilled viewers most. A blurred image appeared resembling a tally sheet with total 701 bold at the bottom, though no one could verify its authenticity. That didn't matter, the story had enough fuel to blaze within 48 hours of the TikTok. Reddit forums overflowed with theories about 701. Some believed it counted bodies unearthed in the tunnel, others suggested it was a code for a classified file tied to the mansion. A few even claimed evidence linked the estate to a shadowy organization. The saga grew odder when posts about 701 began vanishing without explanation. A Reddit user claiming to be a former maintenance worker at the mansion shared a stunning message. "I work there, I can't say much, but what you're thinking might not be wrong. Stop looking, some things are better forgotten." Hours later, the post disappeared. Attempts to contact the user returned account no longer exists. The 701 tale didn't stay confined to social media, it seeped into mainstream outlets. But when reporters pressed the FBI for confirmation, they got a brief reply: "We have no investigation related to the number 701 that should have quashed the rumor." And instead, it deepened the unease. If the FBI wasn't involved, why did 701 posts keep getting scrubbed? And more pressing, who started this rumor? The Hackman Mansion story no longer revolved solely around a forbidden room or secret tunnel. It had morphed into a full-blown enigma tied to a strange number, vanishing posts, and a possibly concealed investigation. What did 701 truly mean? Was someone covering bring something up? Or was it all a psychological game, pushing the tale to new peaks? Answers eluded grasp, but one thing was clear: the Hackman Mansion mystery hadn't reached its end. The investigation into Hackman's mansion should have concluded when the FBI dismissed 701 and offered no statement on the secret vault's findings. But instead of calming curiosity, this silence only heightened public bewilderment. Why no official the word? If nothing was amiss, why seal the related documents from what the press pieced together after police and FBI left? A batch of files was labeled classified, restricted from public view. This sparked countless questions. What did they find that couldn't be shared? Did 701 tie into these files? Who ordered the evidence locked away? A Los Angeles Times reporter approached an unnamed investigative official, and the response only darkened the tale. "We're not permitted to discuss this case. Only those with clearance know what's in those documents." This wasn't a denial, it felt like a subtle nod that something was indeed being. Social media. Could the Hackman estate be more than a simple mystery entangled in a broader scheme reaching influential figures powerful enough to bury the truth? Even more striking, some began questioning Gene Hackman and his wife's roles. Were they truly unaware of what transpired in their home, or did they know and choose silence? Former mansion staff revealed that even Gene avoided certain areas. A past housekeeper under the pseudonym Mr. recalled there were doors even Mr. Hackman never touched. He never spoke of them, never asked about them, like they didn't exist. Another once the family's private chef, added Mrs. Betsy, sometimes seemed anxious passing the basement hall. "I don't know why, but once I overheard her whisper on the phone, 'We can't let this get out.' I didn't understand then, but now I wonder if the homeowners harbored secrets, how much truth had surfaced shortly after. Shadow witnesses post all their dark web entries vanished. No one knew why. Attempts to reach them returned account no longer exists. Curiously, around the same time, articles mentioning the sealed files began disappearing from news sites. Some investigative reporters even claimed they'd received warnings from mysterious figures urging them to drop the story. An anonymous journalist shared, "I got a call from an unknown man. His voice was calm, but I've never felt such fear," he said. One thinks some secrets shouldn't be unearthed coincidence or was someone stifling the truth, sealed files deleted. Posts rumors of ties to influence. Figures each day the Hackman mansion. Tale grew more mysterious, yet amid the theories and whispers one question loomed largest: what had the FBI and police truly found beneath the mansion? Evidence of an unrevealed misdeed or just family secrets Hackman wished to keep private until someone dares unlock those sealed files and face the truth. This story remains an unresolved riddle, the unanswered question about the Hackman Mansion 701. The sealed files seemed destined to fade into silence, but then, like a final puzzle piece dropping unexpectedly, a mysterious letter, allegedly from Gene Hackman, leaked. It wasn't addressed to anyone or no title or date, just brief lines that shook the world. First posted on an anonymous forum at midnight, the uploader left no trace of its origin, writing only, "These are Gene Hackman's final words. He never dared share." The letter read, "There are things in my life I couldn't change. I lived with them, evaded them, tried to forget them, but memories don't vanish. They lurk in the shadows waiting to rise. I've seen things that shouldn't exist. I stayed silent because I had no choice. Some secrets aren't for the faint-hearted, and some truths shouldn't see light. If you're reading this, someone's broken the vow of silence. Maybe the truth is ready to emerge, but I beg you, if you can, stop for once. That door opens, nothing can close it again." These words felt like an elegy for his own life, yet also a veiled warning. As the letter spread, opinions split. Some believed these were Hackman's true last words, a quiet confession of what he knew but never voiced. The FBI, the sealed files, sat untouched in storage as if nothing had happened, but that silence only drove the public to hunt answers harder. Since Pac-Man's loyal housekeeper revealed what she'd seen, people wondered if her words were true. Why hadn't more witnesses spoken? If the FBI probed the mansion, why no report surfaced? If 701 was real, what did it signify? The more questions arose, the hazier the answers grew. Major outlets formally requested the FBI disclose the files, but all were rebuffed. This is classified information, not for release. Investigative reporters even claimed they were shadowed after digging deeper. One from Rolling Stone noted, "I can't share details, but I feel someone doesn't want us probing the Hackman case for the first time." People asked, was this just a curious tale, or was a hidden force cloaking the truth, a detail amplifying the unease? Was the sudden absence of those tied to the mansion. The housekeeper who spoke to the press abruptly recanted, claiming she'd been mistaken and nothing odd occurred. There, a maintenance worker who mentioned the tunnel quit and became unreachable. A reporter who detailed the forbidden room erased his work, calling it baseless rumor. It was as if an unseen hand controlled it all. Despite obstacles, some journalists pressed on. An independent team launched a website gathering data from anonymous sources. They shared previously unseen items, a sketch of the Hackman mansion showing an underground chamber with no clear entry, a photo of a sealed file stamped in red, restricted access, national security concern, a recording from an ex-FBI agent asserting an internal probe on Hackman occurred, but evidence was scrubbed from official records. These fueled public alarm. If it was all fiction, why did such items exist? Ultimately, the biggest question lingered. Will the truth stay buried with the forbidden room, or will it one day break into the light? The answer likely doesn't rest with the FBI or mainstream reports. It lies with those daring to question, seek, and defy the silence. And one thing is certain: the Hackman Mansion saga